Hello everyone. Welcome to Practical Learning. In this lecture I am going to explain auxiliary verb and its kinds. But before I start this lecture, if you are new to my channel, then please like and subscribe the channel. Let's first learn auxiliary verb. An auxiliary verb is a verb that is used alongside the main verb in a sentence to help form different tenses, voices, moods, questions, and negations. What does it mean? Simply, it means that auxiliary verb is nothing but it refers to a verb which is used alongside of the main verb. You should not be confused because it is also called helping verb. There must be a question in your mind that why auxiliary verbs are used. The simple answer is that auxiliary verbs help to make tenses, active and passive voices, questions, and mood, etc. Let me give you a sentence and you tell me that what tense it is. He was driving a car. While looking at the sentence, you must say that it is past continuous tense. But the question is that how you identified it. The simple answer is that you have observed the auxiliary verb, that is, was. So you can see this is an auxiliary verb which is used to form the tense, and it helps the main verb, driving. So, this one is auxiliary verb. Simply, you can say, auxiliary verbs do not carry the main meaning of the sentence by themselves, but instead provide grammatical structure to the main verb. Just let me give some examples, then you will be able to understand it clearly. They have finished their homework. Look at this example. Here the auxiliary verb is have, but the question is how it is an auxiliary verb. As we have said in the definition that an auxiliary verb helps a main verb in the sentence, and you can see here it helps the main verb, finished. This auxiliary helps to form present perfect tense. So all the characteristics are available here, so that's why it is an auxiliary verb. There are many examples like it. Just look at another one. I do not like spicy food. Look at this example here. The word do is an auxiliary verb. And this auxiliary verb helps to create a negative sentence, and it helps the main verb, which is like. And it also shows the tense that it is present simple tense. If someone asks you that what tense it is, then you will obviously look the auxiliary verb. We will go to movies tomorrow. Look at this example. Here the auxiliary verb is will, which shows a future tense, and it helps the main verb, that is, go. Basically, it indicates that the action of going to the movies will happen in the future. So this is another example of auxiliary verb. Now it is the time to explain the kinds of auxiliary. There are mainly three kinds of auxiliary. They are primary auxiliary, modal verbs, and semi-modal verbs. Well, let's learn one by one in detail. Primary auxiliary. Primary auxiliaries are the basic helping verbs used to form tenses, voices, and questions. They do not add meaning themselves but help in the grammatical structure of a sentence. What does it mean? Simply, it means that a primary auxiliary is nothing but it refers to a kind of auxiliary which is used to form tenses, make active and passive voices, and form questions. You should remember the main point that a primary auxiliary does not add meaning to the sentence like showing necessity, obligation and possibility, etc., but it only functions to form the structure of the sentence. And it helps to show us tense and form active voice or passive voice or make questions. Basically, look at this list of primary auxiliary, and it is going to make easy your understanding. I think you are not getting the point. Just look at these examples. She has finished her homework. Look at this sentence. Here the word has is a primary auxiliary. Basically, as we said in the definition, that a primary auxiliary functions to form a tense, voice or make questions. So you can see this auxiliary has made a present perfect tense. And it helps the main verb, that is, finished. You can see all the characteristics that I have mentioned in the definition are existed in the auxiliary. Look at another example. The cake was baked by my mother. Observe this sentence. Here the word was is a primary auxiliary. The reason is that it helps the main verb, which is baked, and the next point is it has formed the structure of the passive voice of simple past tense. Are they watching the match? Look at this example. Here the primary auxiliary is are, and it helps to create an interrogative sentence of present continuous tense. And you can see this primary auxiliary plays grammatical role in this sentence. As you have understood the primary auxiliary, let's learn modal verbs. It can be defined as a modal verb, also called a modal auxiliary verb, is a type of verb that expresses possibility, ability, permission, or necessity. It is used with a main verb to modify its meaning. What does it mean? Simply, it means that a modal verb is nothing but it is also another kind of helping verb, or you can say an auxiliary verb. It also helps the main verb, or you can say it is used with a main verb in a sentence. And the main point you should keep in mind that it adds meaning to the sentence of possibility, necessity, and permission, etc. I think you are not getting the point. To make it easier for you, just look at this list, and it is the full list of modal verbs. I do believe that still you are not getting the point, so let me give you its examples in a sentence. It might rain tomorrow. Look at this example. The word might is a modal verb. The question is that how it is a modal verb. The simple answer is that it is used with another main verb, which is rain, and the second point is that it shows possibility of rain. Simply, it means that it is possible that it might rain tomorrow. You can see this is modal verb or modal auxiliary. You must study hard. Look at this example. Here the word must is a modal verb. The reason is that it is used with another main verb, which is study. This verb shows the necessity, or you can say that it has added the meaning of necessity. Actually, it means that it is necessary for you to study hard. Smith can beat him easily. Look at this example. The word can is a modal verb, and it is also used with the main verb, that is beat. And on the other hand, it shows the ability of him that he is able to beat his opponent easily. As you understood the modal verb, let's learn the semi-modal verb. Semi-modal verbs are a category of verbs that share characteristics of both modal and main verbs. They are used to express obligation, ability, and possibility. What does it mean? Simply, it means that a semi-modal verb is nothing but it is also an auxiliary verb which is used with a main verb. Actually, there must be a question in your mind that why it is called a semi-modal verb. The simple answer is that it functions like a modal verb, as a modal verb shows possibility, ability, or obligation, etc. So that is why it is called a semi-modal verb. Just look at this list of semi-modal verbs. Now let me use them in sentences, then you will be able to understand it. They need to submit the assignment. Look at this example. Here, need to is a semi-modal verb. The first reason is that it helps the main verb, which is submit. And the second point is that it shows necessity, and the third point is that it requires another helping verb to form an interrogative sentence. If I want to convert it into an interrogative sentence, then it can be changed like this. Do they need to submit the assignment? You can see that is why it is called a semi-modal verb, because it functions like a modal verb, but structurally it has the quality of common verbs. And you should keep in mind that a modal verb does not require another helping verb to form an interrogative or negative sentence. Just look at this sentence, Smith can beat him. Here, can is a pure modal verb because if I want to change this sentence into interrogative sentence, then it does not need a helping verb to make an interrogative sentence. Just look, can Smith beat him? You can see I did not say that, does Smith can beat him? This is incorrect because it does not need a helping verb. But a semi-modal verb needs a helping verb for changing into interrogative sentence. You have to buy a toy for your kid. Look at this example. Here, have to is a semi-modal verb because it is used with another verb which is buy, and another thing is that it shows requirement. And the third thing is if I want to convert this sentence into interrogative sentence, then I have to use another helping verb. Like, do you have to buy a toy for your kid? You can see another helping verb is used with it. And if you want to convert it into negative sentence, then you have to use a helping verb. Like, you do not have to buy a toy for your kid. That's why it is called a semi-modal verb. I used to play football every weekend. Observe this last example. Here the used to is a semi-modal verb. Actually, it shows a past habit which is no longer happening. You should not be confused that how it is a semi-modal verb. Apply the same trick that change it into interrogative sentence like, did I used to play football every weekend? You can see for making an interrogative sentence another helping verb is used. I hope you have enjoyed this lecture, but please don't forget like and subscription to my channel. Thank you.